Hey, I'm Patrick, and welcome to Meditations on Being. I've felt like this channel and my purpose has been to create something, but I'm not entirely sure yet what that something is. I've got like ideas of things, but it's not super clear. And so one of the content creators on YouTube that I've been following and have found to be very helpful is a channel called the Divinely Aligned channel. I'll link it down in the description. You should definitely check it out. But in it, the creator, blanking on her name, Cortnie channels an entity, a group consciousness called Zero. And one of the things that Zero has said that was particularly helpful for me recently is that we're here to create something that doesn't yet exist. And in order to kind of figure out what we're here to create, we need to play around and find things that feel good. And so what I wanted to try on this channel is to document that process of how I've figured out whatever it is this channel is going to be, and also to actually show the things that I am trying out. So tonight I wanted to try talking along and painting, just a quick painting, and thinking through my thought process and just sort of going through that and talking about spirituality as we go. And so, yeah, I think it should be interesting. We'll see if it feels good. We'll see if it resonates. And yeah, I'm just going to document the process. So, cool. Let's get into it. Okay, so after a quick outfit change into my painting clothes, we're here at my palette, and I've got some different colors here that I previously mixed for a different painting, and I think that I can use some of them. So I'm going to just scrape off a bit of this and kind of let it flow. See what we end up with. Maybe a lot of this isn't savable actually. Okay, so that was a lot more time-consuming to scrape than I anticipated, so I just cut that part out. But let's start mixing the colors here. I will put on the screen the image that I'm going to be painting from. I generated it with AI, and I really like it. So I always start by mixing my darkest colors first, and we'll go from there. So just mixing up a black for the ground and etc. One of the things that I've mentioned on this channel before, so I'll repeat for anyone who's new, is that I only started painting a year ago, and the way that I sort of fell into painting was that I just had this inspiration 2 years ago, I believe it was, that whatever anyone had told me ever in their life was something that they wished that they had done or that they hope that they do before they die. That was what I was going to get them as a present that year. And so I got my wife a violin rental, and I got my mom a paint by numbers kit. And when I did that, I realized that one of the things that was true for me is that I also hoped that I did not die before learning how to paint. And so a couple years later, or 1 year after that, I guess, I decided to give that present to myself. And I am unbelievably happy that I did that because I really enjoy it. And it surprised me in a couple ways. One, I've never been artistic, as I've mentioned, and so sort of tying into the spirituality aspect of what I talk about on this channel, I sort of feel like this is a passion that was given to me on purpose, because it illuminates, it's sort of like something that my higher self wanted me to do, because it illuminates some things that I am very interested in getting answers to. So I'm the kind of person that is always seeking answers for like why something is, or how the universe works. As I mentioned also on the channel before, I'm a scientist. That's my day job. And yeah, that kind of comes with the territory. So like I'm saying, painting is kind of this like perfect thing, because it has these elements that would be very hard, I think, to find in other parts of my life. It's not to say that nobody could find them. It's just that this is the best way that I've found to encounter these certain aspects. One of them is surrendering. So the whole process of learning to paint so far for me has been a process of me learning how to let go when things aren't going well. So in particular, one of the lessons that I'm learning is that you really don't want to mess with a painting more than you have to. Once you find yourself kind of unhappy with something, you really have to train yourself to resist the urge to get in there and fix it. Whenever you do that, you just end up overworking it and making it look kind of amateurish. But if you're able to retain a level of kind of like wait and see-ness, I don't know a word for that. Like if you're willing to wait around and see what the end process can be like, and you just surrender and say like, I guess I hope this is going to work out, or I think this will work out. Actually, what it really is just trusting and knowing that it's going to work out. So kind of changing my stream of thought here a little bit, but that's fine. When I first started painting, for like maybe this first 6 months, every single painting without fail that I did felt awful. Oh well, the actual painting felt good, but there always came a time in the process where I was pretty sure the painting was not going to work, and I was like upset about that. And for whatever reason, I was able to continue along, and every single time without fail, I was happy with the end result of the painting. And so that just like taught me this lesson like right away, that the surrendering is the key. It's like kind of the only path forward. It's either surrender or quit. I saw a really great quote that was, I don't know who it was attributed to, so I'm not gonna say attribution unknown. But it was like, let go or be dragged. And I definitely feel that that's the case with painting. And not only that, but like the actual the continuing along and just seeing what's going to happen is like one aspect of it, and that's great and all. But like when you embrace the things that were mistakes, that's when the painting gets like interesting. It's like these things come out of the creative process, and a lot of other people have talked about this too. I can't remember his name, but the lead singer from Coldplay, I just saw an interview where he was talking about this. When you try and force something to be a specific way, it's like contrived and lame, and it doesn't work. But when you just like make mistakes or like see what happens, you create, that's when you're able to create something great and interesting. And this is just like so applicable not only to painting, like painting's fun and cool and I like it, and all that stuff, but like this is applicable to life too. Like whatever you want. Do you want a new job? Do you want a new house? Do you want a new relationship? Like all those things could absolutely benefit from a level of surrender, and just not surrendering in the sense of like, oh, well, I just don't care what's going to happen. Surrendering in the sense of like, I know that it'll be fine. I know that Spirit has my back. I put out into the world what my intention is, and that is to fill in the blank, whatever your intention is, and then releasing expectations of the outcome. And instead of worrying about what the outcome would be, what you should do is just pay attention in the minute-to-minute process of what it feels like. And you will notice that there are things that feel good and things that don't feel good. And if you just follow the things that feel good, that's communication from your higher self to tell you, go in this direction, you're going to get the thing that you want. So as long as you don't have an insistence on what the outcome should look like, as long as you're like open to multiple possibilities or perhaps something that you weren't expecting, you'll find the thing that you want, and you'll find that it's actually better than what you wanted. So yeah, painting has been extremely illuminating for me. It's sort of the arena in which I encounter these spiritual ideas in like a practical, applicable way, a way that I can apply it. And so I'm really happy about that. So I've got the blacks for the bottom. I've got some greens also for the bottom. I'll probably mix in a couple more colors as we go. The clouds are also kind of this greenish color, but they also fade into gray, like a gray-green. So I do want to make a bit more of that, but other than that, we're looking pretty good. I obviously also need the oranges, because orange is a big focus in this. Kind of those pops of color are what makes this painting work. Okay, grays. Speaking of grays, one of the things that I want to explore in this channel is aliens. And so, if you're unfamiliar, there is a race of aliens called the Greys, and I want to kind of cover relatively soon who they are, what they're up to, why they visit Earth, and kind of what their goals are, and how you could meet them if you want to. This is one of those things about spirituality that is, like if I'm explaining to my mom the connection between spirituality and aliens, it might not seem so straightforward and obvious, but there actually is a very deep connection between aliens and spirituality. And that is just because, to give like a simple, quick explanation, that is because aliens are part of the universe, right? Like all things. Anything you can imagine is part of the universe. If you can't imagine it, it is not part of the universe, or I guess it's just a multiverse. But they are spiritual beings, therefore. We humans are kind of the odd outliers in that we have chosen to incarnate on Earth in this kind of scenario where we have forgotten on purpose that we are spiritual beings, because the lessons that we are undergoing at this time, that we choose voluntarily to undergo, are lessons about remembering that you are a spiritual being. And so it seems weird to us to think that like aliens are related to religions in some way. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. Or like spirituality, they're these spiritual beings who have telepathic abilities and what's all this stuff. But that only seems strange to us because we are kind of in this like isolated bubble of unknowing. And if you're watching this channel, you are probably not surprised that humanity is undergoing a spiritual awakening, because you're part of that awakening. Very few people, I'm sure, compared to the number of YouTube users every day, very few people will ever find this channel And yeah, only the ones who find this channel are the ones who are kind of down this rabbit hole already. So that reminds me, I wanted to say that I am very thankful for you guys who are watching this, because we're sort of like in the same cohort of souls. My ear just started ringing, so I think this is definitely a direction that my my soul, my spirit guides, my higher self wants me to go in. That's one of my tells when my ear starts ringing that someone's trying to get my attention. Yeah, I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys, and you know, we're all in this process together. And it's my hope in communicating my thought processes and the things that I've you know, discovered and gone through. It's my hope that I will help show you, help illuminate what it is that you would like to do to contribute to this spiritual awakening of everybody, because you undoubtedly have your own passions, and they're probably not painting. And I just think that, yeah, it's nice to kind of have this environment to share these things in and discuss stuff. So I definitely like to turn the comment section into like a more of a discussion. And, you know, as we get more and more followers, sorry for that noise, I'd consider stuff like doing a Discord channel or something where we can chat about stuff more, more in depth. So let's try with these colors. Oh, I do also want to mix some orange in there. Yeah, none of this is in a vacuum, and we're all learning together, and it's just cool and exciting. That's also why I'm excited to document this process of figuring out what this channel eventually will become, or maybe it'll never become anything. But I am, at the very least, documenting the process that I go through as I go through it, because that's interesting to me. So I don't think we need that much orange, but actually, you know what? Let's just make a bunch. Better to have more than too much than too little. So orange and blue are complementary colors of each other, and so that is why they look nice together on a painting. If you mix the orange and the blue, which I'm sure will happen, it'll make kind of a gray-ish color. Well, that's the ideal. If you mix red, yellow, that's what makes orange. If you mix that with blue, that makes gray. Okay, so now let's start the painting. I want to start off by setting a little intention, which is that I surrender to whatever this painting becomes. I surrender to the process, and I trust the universe and source to co-create with me. The other thing I'll mention is that this canvas does not fit horizontally on this this thing, you know, and so I'm painting it sideways, so I have to turn my painting sideways. However, I kind of like that because it makes me think about the shapes rather than paying attention to like drawing anything specific in particular. That seems to be a very helpful reframing to try and allow me to try and help me to surrender more. So I'm just gonna block in these dark portions here, and we will see what this becomes. So I pre-stained this canvas. Let me get a pre-stained this canvas. So they come white, but I made this this gray color. I can put the, if anyone's interested, I can put the materials in the description. I don't know that there are a lot of painting fans here necessarily, but if anyone's curious, I can include them. I don't want to go too crazy on details here because details just kind of distract on some level. It's better sometimes to just get the impression of buildings than to actually put all the detail in, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, that's okay too. Okay, so now I am kind of unfocusing my eye now that I've gotten that bit in that I wanted to get right. And I can probably come back later to do a little bit more. But this area is what I really wanted to get kind of crisp and right. Now what I'm doing with my brain is I'm focusing on just, I'm like softening my gaze. I'm kind of looking past the painting a little bit. This is one of the techniques of surrender that has occurred to me while painting. I'm trying to just focus instead on everything and doing things that feel right. Like that, I just took this green color and I chose a spot because my mind was drawn to that spot in particular. So it's not necessarily random, but it is a bit random. But I'm listening to myself, listening to what's going on inside me for guidance for where to go. And I'm not focusing on doing anything except covering the canvas in colors where it feels good. So kind of filling in the gaps. That is the goal. So I don't want that to be too, I do want to push a little more color in here, so I'm going to try to mix in something with a little bit of a different color. Just push this a little lighter for something different. I think I got to go even lighter. It's not enough of a difference. Okay, so then over here, I'm going to go even lighter, and I'm just, again, paying attention to what this feels like as I do it, like literally thinking I like the feeling of scraping oil paint onto a canvas and relaxing. I'm not thinking about painting anything. I'm just doing something that my body does kind of without my mind too attached to it. And then finding the holes where I left and coming back with something different. And that is my painting process. So now I started to focus too much on, oh, what should it look like over here? How should I, like, this is grass that comes up to something, so I need to blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, that is when I start to paint poorly. That's what I meant before when I was saying the surrender that's involved. I'm trying to fix something using logic, but I need to forget that. So we will move on. I don't know that I have a dark enough sky color here. I don't know that this is the right color. I think I want to possibly mix some more. Let's try it first. So, right, I'm going to start here. Usually I box out some of this, but I'm going to not for right now. I'm just loosening and relaxing and seeing what comes. I am roughly trying to follow the shape and overall distribution, but I'm not concerned with it being a match. In fact, I actually don't want it to be a match in general. because what I want is something that is inspired by my reference, and it might be highly inspired, it might be extremely similar, but not the actual same thing, because what I want to prioritize is something that when I'm relaxed and unfocused with my eyes, something that is satisfying on the actual canvas, rather than trying to reproduce whatever I've got in front of me on the reference. Because the reference won't be there later for people to compare with, thankfully. And I need this thing to look good on its own, if that makes sense. So pretty green here. I guess I can fill a lot of this in, and then we can come back over it. We're also painting pretty small tonight because I wanted this to be a manageable video where I can do it all in one. But recently I've been a lot more into painting bigger because I find it actually to be easier. So we'll just actually, yeah. Before I was saying I don't really want to box things in, but I'm going to box the overall shape in. So this kind of comes this way. Just getting the rough outline for proportions, kind of. Okay, so I need this to be more neutral gray, less green. So I'm going to mix up some more paint. And I will probably cut to that being done because it might take me some time. Okay, so I've mixed up a gray, a gray that I want to try for the sky. Excuse me. And it's too blue, I think. Let's just keep going with it. I'm gonna surrender. So one of the things that I realized when I turned the camera off to mix up that color is that I felt like I wanted to keep talking. So I am enjoying this process of having a painting going and talking about spiritual things in my thought process, because I find it a little bit easier to communicate my thought process when I have something going on that I'm focused on. So that's just to let you know, in the spirit of what I mentioned before about trying out different things. I could see this being something that sticks, but we won't know until we find out. So right now I do not like the greens and the blues. They just seem a bit strange to me. So I'm gonna keep going because, who cares? I surrender. We'll learn something out of this process, but I am at a stage in the painting where I do not like what I have, which is, as I mentioned before, often the case. And so we don't know what we'll have in the end until we push through to the end. I find myself really drawn in terms of subjects to paintings of nature, but in particular paintings of kind of, I wouldn't say violent displays of nature, but like some kind of awe-inspiring view. So that let me interrupt that thought with what I'm doing now. So I've noticed these holes where my brain just knows that some color wants to go in, and so I am allowing that to happen. This is something where I'm not thinking, I'm just unfocused, and I am looking at the overall distribution of things, and I think, yeah, I want some color like there exactly. And I'm not thinking about, I'm not drawing anything, or I'm not thinking about like this needs to be a cloud. I'm just what looks and feels satisfying, and I'm actually not even looking at my reference. This is one where I'm flying based on what feels right to some part of me or some part of something else. Whoever I'm co-creating with is helping me to realize that these are the changes that I want to make. So I'm putting in a little dark on the bottom here. I'm not thinking about these as clouds necessarily, like in my actual process, but I am thinking about how I want them darker on the bottom. And so I do have that kind of preference towards I don't know what you would describe it, towards a lighting perspective, sure, something like that. But even now it's a little too even, and so I need to smudge things out a bit, make it more satisfying to the eye. It can be really jarring in clouds to have strong changes in color. So yeah, again, I can't really explain, well, I guess I did explain my thought process, but you know. Okay, so let's add in, I feel like now is a good time to add in the sky color. And so here I'm going to come in really deliberately again, because I don't want to, I know that this is an important piece to lay in correctly, just like the buildings below, and so I want to get this right and focus on, right now I'm just filling in the blank spaces. And I do want it to get a little darker. Actually, this is the darkest blue that I have, so we're good. I want it to be darker on this side, going for the reference, comparing with the reference now, I should say. I do want you to be bluer up at the top. Come down in here a little bit. Definitely up here. Can kind of mix it in. I don't like that stroke that I just did, so I'm resisting some temptation to adjust it too strongly. Okay, now let's go a little bit lighter blue as we move down. And actually, you know what, I'm gonna come in here with a little bit more of that blue above there. And then pretty soon I need to change to the lightest blue I've got down here. And so when this is done, if it looks good, then you and I will both be surprised that it comes together, because that's just the nature of surrendering here. It's I accept that I, on some level, know what I'm doing, obviously. Like, I'm doing this stuff on purpose, but I also, on some level, don't know what I'm doing. And that's like on purpose. I don't know what I'm doing because I'm forcing myself to not know what I'm doing. I'm just coming in here with some of this lighter because that's what feels right. Not because it's on the reference photo, but because I just need this to look like that. So one of the things that I have no idea where or when to talk about this, so I'm going to talk about it now. But one of the things I'm very curious about, you can let me know down in the comments if your experiences with this. But as I've like become more and more spiritual, I will, it seems almost daily, have these flashes where it's as if I'm reliving a dream, where I'm like right back in the spot that I was in a dream, and the situation does not seem to be related to, like, the situation that I'm encountering in the dream does not seem to be related to what's happening in real life. It's just like a flash of like, oh yeah, that dream I had that haven't thought about in decades. It's just like will pop in, and so I just had that experience, and they're very fast. They go away quickly. I don't even remember what it was, honestly, even though I just had it because I distracted myself by talking about this. But be very curious to hear. I know it's not like well, it's perhaps unusual, but I know that other people experience stuff like this because I saw a post about it on Reddit, but I haven't heard too many other people describing it. Well, I've never heard anyone else describing it. I just Googled it and found something about it on Reddit. But yeah, super interesting. And this happens like every day for me, at least once, sometimes multiple times. And yeah, I have a lot of recurring themes in my dreams. I'm not sure if I like this color I just mixed. It's like an ugly... I mixed the blues and the oranges. That's kind of uggo. I can't be too precious here. I've got to just lay this in because I'm going to mess something up by trying to control it. And what I need to do is let the painting become what it will become. So I'm going to leave it like that. It feels a little off balance with, I think I need some more orange up here. Feels kind of like all the orange is concentrated in one spot. So I want to just bring that in for some of the bottom lines. Yeah, guess I'm happy with that. So, moment of truth. Let's rotate this. Our big reveal. Probably some reflection on it. So, some of the things I don't like, which I can fix now, is I don't like how curved this comes down. So I'm going to just push this a little bit more horizontal. All of these a little bit more pushed in there. Actually, you know what I should be doing is not this. I should be taking a step back because you're always supposed to judge your painting from like 7 feet away. So I do like how that looks from back here. There is a little bit of changing that I'd like to do just because one of these lines bothers me, so I'm going to go bring that in there, but pretty close to fully happy. Oops, and so that was a bit of an accident, but I've found that my accidents end up looking pretty good most of the time. Okay, I need to stop touching it because I'm making unforced accidents now. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me for this painting. I enjoyed this. I will probably do more paint-alongs in the future and kind of talk through whatever comes to mind. If you found this helpful or interesting, I'd really appreciate a like. If you disliked the video, then you can give it a dislike. Subscribe for more, and as always, I send you my unconditional love. Thanks. Bye-bye.